So starting on our backs in constructive rest. So come on down onto your mat, step your feet to a width that works good for you. I often say to the outer edges of your mat, but if you're tall, you might want to step them further apart. If you're shorter, you might want to step them closer. And then really just depending on the variations within your own hips and how they move, you might find a closer or wider stance works good for you. So stepping your feet to an appropriate distance apart for you, let your knees drop in towards each other. And just to start, let your hands come out in anatomical position. So out at the side of your body, about 45 degrees away from your sides, palms facing up, and then just give a second to kind of let your body find its way. Let your spine relax. Let your shoulders soften. Notice your feet right away. And if you are gripping in your toes, maybe give your toes a little wiggle and then let your feet soften and relax into the ground. Take one more quiet moment here. And then just start to notice the movement of breath in your body, hopefully breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. If you're congested, that might change the game, but like if you can, inhale through your nose and a slightly slower exhale through your nose. One more gentle breath here. And then we're going to take our hands, stack them on top of the heart, and we're going to take 3 humming breaths. So you'll inhale through your nostrils, and then as you exhale, you'll let a low hum out. Inhale a nice full breath. Exhale a nice low hum. Inhale a nice deep breath, fill your lungs up. Exhale with a hum. One more breath here. Inhale a nice full breath, fill your lungs up. Exhale and let out that hum. And then before we move away from this place, take a moment to set an intention to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice, never doing anything in your practice that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. With that intention set, release your arms into cactus or goalpost arms. Give a second to just rearrange your shoulder blades if you need to. And then just with your arms in a relaxed position, a tiny nod of the head up and down. So it's not going to be a big giant range of motion. The back of your head is trapped against the floor. So you might feel a little bit of a connection point of your scalp moving a little bit as your hair is connected to your mat as you move your chin gently up and down. And you might also notice the musculature in the back of the neck or the musculature between the shoulder blades. So just take a second, nodding the head up and down. Notice in your body where you feel sensation. Take one more gentle nod up and down. And then we're going to take that into a turning side to side. So just start to turn your head, maybe a small range of motion to start. And then as your neck muscles and the bones get all nice and gummy, just maybe then you increase your range of motion to a point that feels nice. Cool. One more turn of your head side to side. And then as your head comes to center, bring it down into the knees. Windshield wiper your knees. And again, you might find a small range of motion to start. And then as you increase some warmth in the hips, find some gumminess in the muscles, then you might decide to go a little bit further with it. But as you start to move here, notice, where's your energy level at this morning? How is your back feeling? How are your hips feeling? How are your knees feeling? You might notice a little bit of movement down in your feet and your ankles. So how are your feet and your ankles feeling? One more time, side to side with just the knees, and then add the head as well. So as your knees drop in one direction, head's going to turn in the opposite direction. Everything meets in the middle. And then we switch over to the other side. And then maybe slow this down just a little bit so that you can find a little breath connection. Inhale as everything comes to center. Exhale as your head turns and knees drop to one side. Take one more time each side, or even yourself out. And then as everything comes back to center, you're going to walk your feet a little closer to your butt. So feet coming about hip width distance apart, heels closer to the butt, and then keeping with the arms. So now we're just going to anchor into our feet. So imagine that you're pressing your feet slightly into the ground, which also means you might feel your low back press gently into the ground, keeping your arms in that cactus position. Now we're going to reach up and overhead. So as you inhale, glide your hands up, try to keep the backs of your hands connected to the floor. And as you exhale, pull the elbows back down in line with the shoulders. Inhale as you raise your arms up. Exhale as you pull your arms back down. One more just like that. Inhale to raise your arms up. Exhale to pull your arms back down. And now we're going to release our arms into our I Dream of Genie arms, or that nice square across the chest. And then keeping your feet anchored on the ground. So push into your feet, but pull your elbows gently side to side. So one elbow crosses the midline of the body, and then we take it over the other way, but we're going to keep our head looking up towards the ceiling. So head in a neutral position. Nice. One more time each side. And then we're going to come a little closer with those arms. So give yourself a little hug. Inhale, lift your elbows slightly upward towards your face. Exhale, pull the elbows down towards your belly button. Inhale as you lift your elbows up. Exhale as you pull your elbows down. One more just like that. Inhale to lift your elbows up. Exhale to pull your elbows down. Notice which elbow is on top. We're going to release, and then just right away, switch the cross in your arms. Let the other arm come on top. Catch your shoulders. Inhale, lift your elbows up. Exhale, lower your elbows down. Inhale and lift your elbows up. Exhale to lower down. One more like that. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down. And now we're going to unwind the arms and let the hands come down alongside the hips, palms facing down. Move right into pelvic tilt. Exhale, press your low back into the ground. Inhale, release to the natural curve of your back. Exhale to press your low back down. Inhale to release. One more just like that. Exhale to press. Inhale to release. And now we're going to take some little baby bridges and we'll start to increase our lift. So inhale, just barely lift the tailbone off the ground. So maybe you could slide one hand underneath your butt. And then as you exhale, lower down, pull both knees up into your chest. Give yourself a light, gentle squeeze. And then right away, release your feet to the ground, hands down. Inhale, curl the tailbone up, maybe now 2 hands high. So maybe you could slide 2 hands under your butt and then release back down. Bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a light little squeeze. Release your feet to the ground, hands down. Inhale, lift the tailbone up, now going about 3 hands high. Exhale to lower down. Pull your knees into your chest. Give yourself a light little squeeze. Feet down, hands down. Inhale and roll your tailbone up, now coming about 4 hands high. Exhale to lower down. Pull your knees into your chest. Give yourself a light little squeeze. Feet down, hands down. Inhale, roll up, now going about 5 hands high, or just as high as your body allows. Imagine reaching your knees toward your toes to find a little length through the tops of the thighs, through the front of the hips, and then when you're ready, Roll back down through the spine. Pull both knees into your chest. Give yourself a light little squeeze, and then move right into wind relieving pose. Right knee is going to come into the chest. Left leg is going to go long, but the heel hover. Inhale as you switch, and exhale as you pull the knee in for a little squeeze. Inhale to switch. Exhale to squeeze, and then just keep that going for a few cycles of breath. Just tuning in, noticing your glutes, noticing that little bit of length through the back of the leg as you extend your leg nice and long. Notice your energy level here. And if you're feeling like this isn't quite enough work and you want just a little extra, you're going to pull the abdominal muscles down towards the spine, curl up the head, neck, and chest, and just find a little bit of heat in your center as you do this work. But if that feels like it's a little too much, keep your head down on the ground. Nice. Take one more time each side, or even yourself out. And then when you're ready, pull both knees back into your chest. If your head was lifted, go ahead and release it down. We're going to hold those knees together. Draw your knees in circles, go in one direction. Draw your knees in circles, go the other way. Beautiful. And now we're going to hold on to the right knee, but let the left leg go down, but keep your left knee in a bent position. Now we're going to hold on to the back of the right thigh, make a little basket weave here. You're going to extend your foot up towards the ceiling, flex the foot, point the foot, neutral foot, bend and bring it down, and maybe you hug the knee slightly in towards your chest. Reach your foot up towards the ceiling, flex your foot, point your foot, neutral foot, bend and bring your leg back in. One more just like that. Extend your leg up towards the ceiling, flex your foot, point your foot, neutral foot, bend, bring it in, maybe one last little squeeze, and then release. We're going to take it to the other side. So set your right foot down, grab hold of the back of the left leg, extend your leg up towards the ceiling, flex your foot, point your foot, neutral foot, bend and bring it in. Maybe you hug your knee into your chest, extend your leg up, flex, point, neutral foot, bend and bring it in. Beautiful. One more just like that. Send the foot up towards the ceiling, flex the foot, point the foot, neutral foot, bend and bring it in. Beautiful. And then releasing your little basket weave on the back of the thigh. Pull both knees back into the chest. One last little squeeze here. Excuse me. And then we're going to set the feet down, roll over onto the right side. So get yourself into a fetal posture. And then you can take that bottom arm and bring it right underneath the head. We're going to take the top arm, draw 3 big circles in one direction, keeping your side body and legs anchored into the ground. And then take that top arm, draw 3 big circles, go in the other direction. Nice. And then release that top hand to the hip so that you can lift your hand up. Now that bottom arm is going to slide out, straight out from the shoulder. And then we're going to move into our little top and bottom scissor. So the top arm is going to glide forward as the hip draws back. And as the top shoulder draws back, the hip is going to glide forward. So we're going to find this little coordination of movement, opposite push and pull. So the top shoulder glides forward, hip pulls back, and then the shoulder pulls back as the hip pulls forward. So you can think of it as gliding your knees in your palms, or think of it as the shoulders and the hips, whatever helps you find that movement, but it's that opposite direction. So as the knee draws back, the palm slides forward, and then go in the other direction. Take 1 or 2 more times here. And sometimes my brain just won't coordinate it. I can say it and I can do it, but I can't do both. So you find that coordination that works good for you. Take 1 more time forward and back. And then when you're ready, we're going to flip over to the other side. I'm going to spin around just facing out towards the camera, but you flip over onto your other side. Start with bringing that bottom arm down underneath your head for a little cushion, and then take your top hand, big giant circles, circle in one direction. Awesome. And then take the circles, draw them in the other direction. Nice big giant circles, or as big as your arm and your shoulder allow. Beautiful. And then reach that hand down towards the hip. Lift your head up away from your arm. Now reach that bottom arm straight out from your shoulder and then restack. So stacking your hand on top. And now we're going to take it into that gliding motion. So fingers are going to draw forward as the hip draws back. And then the knee draws forward as that top shoulder draws back. And then just see if you can find that opposite movement. One hip goes forward as the shoulder goes back, and then reverse it. Nice. Take one more time forward and back. And then when you're ready, roll back onto your backside. Take a second to lift both knees up into your tabletop position. And now we're going to just do that little reset for the SI joint. So left hand on top of the knee, right hand behind, opposite push and pull. Push your right side into your hand, push your hand into your knee, hold that steady action. Take one good inhale. Exhale, release and switch. So right hand on top of the knee, left hand behind the thigh, opposite push, pull. Push your hand into your knee, push your thigh into your hand. Take a nice big inhale. Slow exhale. Beautiful. And then release. Both hands are going to hold on to the backs of the thighs. We're going to start to find a little rock and roll. We're going to rock and roll up into a supported boat. So you're going to come up and find a little bit of balance and then see if you can just hold that balance. Pushing your thighs into your hands. Arms are going to be nice and strong, finding a little resistance here. Take one more breath. And then from this position, we're going to find our way into Sukhasana or easy seat. So can you crisscross your ankles here, release your feet down to the ground, and then find that nice tall lifted spine. Beautiful. Right hand's going to touch down to the ground. Left hand's going to reach up alongside your ear. Take a gentle side bend over to the right. Lift up right away. Take it over to the other side. Left hand down, right hand reaches up. Awesome. Lift up nice and slow. Take it right into your seated twist. Left hand over to the right knee, right hand behind you. Get nice and tall on your inhale. Release, take your twist over to the other side. Think about getting nice and tall. Release, come to center, both hands holding the knees. Take it into a seated cat-cow. 3 cycles of breath here. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin, arch your back. Exhale to round your back. Inhale to lift. Exhale to round. One more cycle of breath. Inhale to a neutral spine, back to our side bend. Right hand's going to touch down, left hand's going to reach up. Take it over to the other side. Lift up, take it back into your seated twist. So twist to the right, hang into this twist for a second. And then as you find a good leverage twist, now you're going to turn your head to the left, look over your left shoulder. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Return your head to neutral, unwind your spine, and then take it over to the other side. Catch your knee, get nice and tall, find that nice good leverage twist. And then once you found it, turn your head in the opposite direction. So look over your right shoulder. One more breath. Nice, and then release back to center. Let your hands just find a comfortable handhold on your knees or your thighs. We're going to move into the shoulders just a little bit. So as you inhale, lift your shoulders up to your ears, and then exhale, just let them melt down. Inhale to lift the shoulders up. Exhale to melt down. One more just like that. Inhale to lift. Exhale to melt down. Keep the shoulders down. Inhale, lift your chin up to the sky. Exhale and tuck your chin down to your chest. Inhale to lift your chin up. Exhale to tuck your chin down. One more just like that. Inhale, lift your chin up. Exhale to tuck your chin down. And then we're going to bring our head back to a neutral position. Inhale, lift the shoulders up to the ears, but hold it there for a second. Really tighten up the muscles in the side of the neck, even allow your face to kind of scrunch up a little bit, get that bit of tension. Take a big inhale. And then as you exhale, you're just going to let your shoulders drop down. And then we'll do that again. Inhale, lift everything up, squeeze, scrunch up the muscles in the side of the neck, scrunch up your face, even scrunch up your eyes, hold that tension for a second. And then when you're ready with your exhale, just let everything drop. Do that one more time. Pull it all up, scrunch up your shoulders, scrunch up your face, find that tension, take an inhale. And then as you exhale, let everything go. And then just pause here for a moment. Soften your gaze or close your eyes down. Soften the space between your eyes. Take a nice gentle inhale. Nice slow exhale. Cool. And then when you're ready, open your eyes and find your way into a tabletop position. So flip yourself around onto all fours in any way that works good for you. But then as you find your way here, take a second to start to bop your hips a little side to side. So you're going to drop your hips like you're dropping them towards the earth, noticing the sides of your glutes. You might even notice the sides of your thighs or your IT band. So finding just a little bit of movement there. But as you do this work here, start to tune in and notice, how do your knees feel? And if your knees are tender or they get a little mischievous, you always have the option. I mean, I have 2 mats on my floor. My knees don't tend to give me too much trouble, but just know that if you need a little extra cushioning for your knees, there's no shame to that game. Make sure you take good care of yourself and be gentle with the parts that need that extra bit of love. Take one more bop of the hips side to side. And then when you're ready, big toes together, knees to the outer edges of your mat. You're going to move right to extended child's pose. Pull your butt back toward your heels. A nice active reach through the arms and the fingers. Find some space for your belly and your chest. Let your forehead melt down just as far as it likes to go. Take 3 nice deep breaths here. On your next inhale, when you're ready, lift yourself up to tabletop position, bringing the knees back in line with the hips, move right into puppy pose. Walk your hands towards the top edge of your mat, just as wide as feels right for your shoulders. Keeping the hips in line with the knees so that we can find more work in the upper body, upper back body, and the chest. Take a nice deep inhale. Slow exhale. One more breath. And then as you inhale, come back up to your tabletop position, sliding the right leg back with the toes curled under. Take 3 good rocks forward and back, just to create a little space in the back of the leg. Awesome. And then the next time your shoulders come in line with the wrist, lift that leg up, spinal balance. So right leg is reaching out, left hand is going to reach out, gaze down at the floor or down between the space where your thumbs would be. Take a nice big breath. Cool. And then release that with control. We're going to take it right to the other side. Slide your left leg back, toes curled under. Take 3 good rocks forward and back, just to create a little space in the back of the leg. Awesome. And then the next time your shoulders come in line with the wrist, lift that leg up. Other hand extends out. So right hand, so opposite hand, opposite foot. Gaze down at the floor, nice and strong. Take 1 good breath. Beautiful. And then release that down with control. Big toes together, knees together. Pull your butt back towards your heels. Come forward, come back into your tabletop, and this time curl both sets of toes under. Pull your butt back towards your heels. Come forward, release your toes. Pull your butt back to your heels. Come forward, curl your toes under, and pull your butt back to your heels. Beautiful. Come forward, release your toes, pull your butt back towards your heels. Come forward, curl the toes under, pull your butt back to your heels. Stay here. Take an extra breath. Nice. And then from here, we're going to drop the elbows down to the ground, make some space here. So we want to slide the heart forward. So think you're lifting your butt up towards the ground as your heart comes down. Slide your heart forward, and then you're going to slip your legs back as your heart lifts up into a little mini cobra, and then readjust your hands and shoulders as needed. We're going to take 3 low cobras here. Inhale to lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower down. 1 more breath here. Inhale as you lift. Exhale as you lower down, and then we'll move right into half locust. So if you have protruding front hip bones and you like to cushion them, just tuck your fingers under your hip bones, chin on the floor, forehead on the floor, whatever works best for you and is the most comfortable. We're going to take a little rock into our heels. So we want to just swish the heels a little side to side, create a sense of soft looseness in the hip socket. So we're trying to find a little looseness in the thigh muscles and let the thigh bone be kind of loose in the socket. And then once you feel like you found a little soft looseness, a little letting go, let that shaking come to stillness. Point your right toes, pull your right toes away from you, pull the toes towards the end of your mat. And then pull the toes further away from you as you lift the leg up. Pull your toes further away from you as you lengthen lower down. Once that foot touches down, give your heels a little soft shake. Beautiful. And then once you feel like you've got your legs kind of loosened up again, take it over to the left. Pull the left toes away from you. Pull them nice and hard to the end of your mat. Pull them nice and long. As you lengthen and lift up, you go just as high as feels comfortable to you. Pull the toes away from you, lengthen as you lower down. And then once that foot touches the ground, give your heels a little soft shake. If your fingers are underneath your hip bones, you're going to release them alongside your shoulders, bending both knees. Swish your heels a little side to side, massage out the quads. Awesome. One more little swish of the heels side to side. And then as your feet come back to center, release your toes down, push your way up into a tabletop position. We're going to walk those knees in so that those are in line with the hips, and then curl the toes under, hover your table. So we're just going to find a little heat in our center. So we're going to pick the knees up about 2 inches away from the floor, nice and solid in our center, belly pulling up towards the spine, broaden the shoulders, nice and engaged in your hands. Nice. Gaze down at the floor. Take 2 more cycles of breath. Beautiful. And then keeping those knees lifted, lift up into your downward facing dog, move right into pedaling the legs, bending one knee and pressing into the opposite heel. Lovely. One more pedal of each leg. And then when you're ready, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, come to a folded ragdoll at the top of the mat. So feet about hip or shoulder distance apart, super generous bend in the knees. Make space for your belly and your chest, and then just let everything hang nice and heavy here. Soft through the back of your body, soft through the back of your neck. If it feels good to do so here, grab your elbows, let your head hang just a little heavier, and then invite a gentle sway into your body. So maybe there's a light pedaling of the legs or bending one knee and then the other. But see if you can maintain that heaviness in the spine and that softness in the back of your neck. So if you started to move and you lifted your gaze, can you let your head soften down? Notice if you've picked up any tension in your jaw, your cheekbones, or your temples. Can you soften there? One more little sway side to side if you're swaying. And then as you come to center, relax your hands down to the ground. Bend your knees a lot. Pull your abdominal muscles in. Slow and controlled. Roll your way up to a standing position. Roll your shoulders up to your ears. Roll them around, down and back. And then give yourself a second to just get situated at the top of your mat. Fix your clothes, fix your hair, fix your mat, any of that stuff that you need to do. And then find your way to mountain pose at the top of your mat. So toes and knees pointing fairly forward, anchoring into your feet, lifting up through the crown of your head, shoulders grounding down. Beautiful. And then if you feel stable here, if you feel really nice and balanced, if you can, just for a moment, close your eyes, tune in, notice your feet. And we're going to try to do this with eyes closed, or at the very least without looking down at our feet. Can you lift just your big toes away from the floor, but keep your 4 small toes on the ground? And then can you, keeping your eyes closed, big toes down, can you lift the 4 toes up away from the floor? 4 toes down, big toes lift. Big toes down, 4 toes lift. 4 toes down, big toes lift. Big toes down, 4 toes lift. One more through. Big toes lift, 4 toes down. Big toes down, 4 toes lift. And then all toes down on the ground, soles of the feet lift. Zip up through the inner thighs, lift up through the front of the body, lift up through the crown of your head. And then once you feel like you're there, eyes open, take a nice big breath. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. One more time through there. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. And we'll move a little further now. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees, hinge from your waist, fold down to the ground. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale, we're going to soften down and stay here. So we're going to tent our fingers and make those nice tall cupcake hands so that we can shift our weight slightly onto our left foot. Pick your right foot up, hug your heel in towards your butt, get a little squeeze, so a little action. Feel the back of the leg fire up nice and strong, like you're really trying to kick that heel into your butt. Take one more breath and then release that foot down. We're going to switch to the other side. So weight shifts onto the right foot. Pick your left foot up, hug your heel as tight as you can in towards your butt so you feel the back of the leg fire up a little bit. Beautiful. And then release that foot down, both knees super bent. Pull the abdominal muscles in, roll up to a standing position. Roll your shoulders around, down, and back. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down. Tent the fingers, shift your weight to your left foot, pick up your right heel, hug it in. We're going to move a little bit faster here. Beautiful. Release that foot down, shift your weight onto your right foot, pick up your left foot, hug the heel in toward your butt. Awesome. Set that foot down, bend both knees, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll up to standing, roll your shoulders up to your ears, around, down, and back. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, tent your fingers, shift your weight to your left foot, pick up your right heel, hug it in toward your butt. Release that foot down, shift your weight onto your right foot, pick your left heel up, hug it in toward your butt. Beautiful. Release that foot down, bend both knees, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll up to standing, roll your shoulders around, down, and back. Inhale, reach up, grab that imaginary beach ball above your head. Exhale, sink into a chair. Beautiful. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sink into your chair. Inhale and rise up. Exhale to sink in your chair, and this time stay here. Bring your weight slightly into your heels, draw your tailbone slightly down just to the point where you feel a little engagement in your abdominal muscles. If there's anything going on, if you're feeling any pinching in the low back, release your hands to shoulder height. But if it's all feeling good, you're going to sink your butt just a little deeper, reach up a little more through the fingertips, lift your gaze. So there might be a slight arch in your back, but still a firmness in your center. Take one good breath. And then on your exhale, fold everything down to the ground. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step both feet back to downward facing dog. Take a pedal or two of the legs here just to kind of find some movement through the backs of the legs. Nice. And then we're going to bring that to a stillness. Keep your heels lifted, bend your knees, pull your butt back toward your heels. And then once your knees touch down to the ground, drop your elbows, slide your heart forward so the butt is up towards the earth or up towards the ceiling. And then slide your heart forward, slide your legs back. 3 low cobras here. Inhale to lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down. As you take this next low cobra, can you think about rolling your shoulders down and back as you lift your heart? Beautiful. Exhale to lower down. One more time here. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower down. Nice. Push your way up into a tabletop position. Curl your toes under. Exhale up to downward facing dog. We're going to take it into a 3-legged dog situation, but keep the shoulders square, hips square, so you might not get as much height. Lift your right leg up, but keep your hips level. Think about pushing through your right heel and your left heel, and then notice your shoulders and notice your hands. Make sure you have a nice even weight distribution in your shoulders and your hands. Take one more breath. Release that right leg down with control. We're going to take it to the other side. Left leg is going to lift up. Square in your hips, square in your shoulders. Awesome. Nice job. Push through the right heel, push through the left heel. Notice your shoulders and your hands. One more breath. Beautiful. And then release that foot down to the ground. We're going to bend the knees, pull the butt back towards your heels. So think child's pose. Drop your elbows down, slide your heart forward, keep the butt lifted. Slide your legs back as you come down, belly down. Beautiful. Inhale as you lift up to a low cobra. Exhale to lower down. Cool. Now we're going to take the low cobra with a lift of the legs. So inhale, lift your heart, lift your right leg. Exhale and lower down. Inhale, lift your heart and your left leg. Exhale and lower down. Inhale, lift your heart, lift both legs. Beautiful. Exhale, lower down. And then as your toes touch down to the ground, we're going to lift the heart up, moving into a Sphinx position. So walk your elbows in. So elbows in line with the shoulders, hands in a parallel position, spread your fingers nice and wide. Draw energetically, elbows back towards the ribs, squeeze between the shoulder blades, heart forward, press up through the crown of your head. And then from this position, we're gonna bend both knees, flex your feet, pick your knees slightly up away from the floor. So it's not gonna be a high lift, but you just wanna feel, you're gonna start to feel a nice bit of engagement through the muscles in the back of the body, maybe in the muscles in the backs of the thighs. Keep pushing your heels up towards the ceiling. Take one more breath. Awesome. Whew, and then relax your feet down to the ground. Walk your elbows nice and wide. We're going to stack our hands. Let your forehead rest on the backs of your hands. Take 3 nice deep breaths here. No efforting, just let go of any muscles in the back of the body that you can. Take one more breath here. When you're ready, gently lift your head away from your hands. Slide your hands in alongside your shoulders. We're going to find a little power here. So if you're not in the mood for some power today, you might choose to just take it to a tabletop. But if you can, power up to a plank. Keep your back nice and strong. Push the floor away from you. Beautiful. Lift up to your downward facing dog. Look forward. Walk your feet up to meet your hands. Come to forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold, knees bent or straight, totally up to you, whatever feels better now. Inhale to a half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, step the right leg back. We're going to come into a crescent lunge. So we're going to keep the heel lifted, keep the knee lifted, find your balance first. And then once you feel like you're there, lift your heart away from your front thigh, raise your arms up. And then imagine here for a moment that you're pulling your front heel towards the back toe towards your front heel. So legs are going to zip up and find a nice, strong engagement there. Lift your energy up through your fingertips. Take one good breath. Awesome. And then float your hands down. We're going to frame the front foot and take 3 bends and straightens of that front leg, but you don't need to straighten it all the way, just to find a little length through the back of the leg. Cool. And then the next time you bend that front knee, stay there. Right hand is going to touch down to the ground. Left hand's going to reach for a little twist. Bring that left hand down, frame your front foot, plant your palms, step back to plank, and then right away, bring the knees down, rotate the eyes of the elbows, hug your elbows into your ribs, lower with control onto your belly. 1 cobra here as high as you like. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down. Either push up to a table, power up to a plank, and then find your way up to down dog. Right leg up into 3-legged dog. Bend your knee, let the hip roll open, take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then we're going to step that right foot through to the top of our mat. So we're going to find a lunge. So you step it as far as your leg naturally goes, help it along the rest of the way, and then walk your hands forward, tent your fingers, pick up that back leg, 1 standing half split, just floating through it, and then release that foot right away into your forward fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold, knees bent or straight, whatever feels nice. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left leg back, crescent lunge to the other side. So we keep the heel lifted, the knee stays lifted. Check your balance first. Once you feel like you're there, lift your heart away from that front thigh, arms reach up. And then again here, imagine that you're pulling that front heel towards the back toe towards the front heel. So we get nice and strong through the legs, pull that energy up through the fingertips, take 1 good breath. Beautiful. And then float your hands down, frame your front foot, 3 bends and straightens of that front leg, only finding a little length, not yanking against the hamstring. So make sure you only go to a point where it's a good sensation. Beautiful. And then the next time you bend that front knee, stay there. Left hand touches down, right hand reaches for a twist. Awesome. Bring that right hand down, frame the front foot, plant your palms, step back to plank. Right away, bring your knees down, rotate the eyes of the elbows, hug elbows into ribs, lower with control. Inhale up to a cobra just as high as you like. Exhale up to table or up to down dog, whichever feels good to you. Left leg up into three-legged dog. Bend the knee, let the hip roll open. And then step that foot through to the top of your mat, finding a lunge. Take your time, find the lunge that works good for you. And then once you're there, walk your hands forward, tent your fingers, pick up that back leg, standing half splits for one breath, and then release it into your forward fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, press firm into your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides. Pause in your mountain pose just for a moment. Eyes open or closed, whatever feels more stable to you here, but just tune back in. Notice your breath. Notice your feet connected to the floor. Take one more moment. Wonderful. When you're ready, inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, right leg back, crescent lunge. Heel stays lifted, knee stays lifted. Find your stability first. Lift your heart away from your thighs. Inhale, arms up. Take one good breath. Release your hands down, frame your front foot. This time we're just gonna take one straighten of that leg. Bend that knee, right hand down, left hand reaches for a twist. Left hand down, frame the front foot, plant your palms, step back to plank. Right away, bring the knees down, rotate the eyes of the elbows, hug elbows into ribs, lower with control. Inhale up to Cobra. Exhale up to down dog. Right leg up into three-legged dog. Bend the knee, let the hip roll open. Step that foot through to the top of your mat, find your lunge. And then once you feel like you're there, hands walk forward, tent your fingers, pick up the back leg. And now we're gonna take 3 Shiva squats here. So as that leg lifts up to the sky, we're gonna bend, so curtsy. Take the left knee behind the right, tuck it in for a little curtsy, and then lift that left leg up nice and high. Beautiful. Back to that curtsy. Bend, bring the knee in, and lift it up nice and high. One more just like that. Bend and bring it in. Lift it up nice and high. Take one good breath. And then release that left foot into your forward fold. Bend both knees a lot. Pull your abdominal muscles in. Roll up to standing. Roll your shoulders down and back. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale and fold. Inhale to half forward fold. Exhale to soften down, left leg back, crescent lunge. Heel is lifted, knee is lifted. Find your stability first. Lift your heart away from your thighs. Raise your arms up. One good breath. Beautiful. Float those hands down, frame your front foot. One, straightening up that front leg. Bend that front knee, left hand touches down, right hand reaches for a twist. Beautiful. Release that hand down, frame the front foot, step back to plank. Right away, bring the knees down, rotate the eyes to the elbows, hug elbows into ribs as you lower with control. Inhale up to Cobra. Exhale up to down dog. Left leg up into three-legged dog, bend the knee, let the hip roll open. Step that foot through to the top of your mat, find your lunge. Beautiful, and then walk your hands forward, lifting the right leg up, standing half split, and then take it into your Shiva squat. Bend your right knee, tuck it in behind the left, and then lift it up nice and high. Bend your knee, tuck it in. Lift it up nice and high. Beautiful, bend your knee, tuck it in. Lift it up nice and high, and then from that standing half split, you'll release it into your forward fold. Bend your knees a lot, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll up to a standing position, roll your shoulders down and back. From here, bring both hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, draw the knuckles down, pull the arms away from the back of the body so we open the chest and the collarbones, lift your chin up to the sky, take a nice big breath. One more breath. And then when you're ready, release your interlace of your fingers, let your hands come back at your sides, find your mountain pose, gaze forward, take an inhale. Nice slow exhale. Inhale as you lift your chin up towards the sky. Exhale as you tuck your chin down to your chest, bend your knees, and we're going to peel our back away for an imaginary wall as we roll down to the ground. And then once your fingers have found the ground, bend your knees, pick up your heels, lower yourself into a little toe balance, lift your heart away from your thighs. If you have balance, lift your hands away from the ground, prayer hands to heart center. Get just a little taller here. Take one good breath. Nice, and then when you're ready, release your hands down to the ground. We're gonna sit our butt down onto the ground, move right into Cobbler's pose or Badakanasana. So soles of the feet together, knees out to the left and to the right. Take a second to make sure everything feels like it's in a good and happy position. And then we're gonna take a nice big inhale, get nice and tall up through the top of the head. Exhale, lean your heart forward, and right away, you're gonna go to your edge. So you're gonna go just as far as feels safe and comfortable to you. No shooting pain in the back, no zinging in the knees. So if you come too far and you find bad sensation, lift off just a little bit. But if you can come to a fold that works good for you, take one more breath. Awesome. And then as you lift up through the top of your head, let your heart follow. We're going to take our peace fingers and see if you can just grab hold of your big toes with your peace fingers. From here, we're going to lean back a little bit. Send your left leg out nice and long. Lean your heart forward. Keep your toe hold. See if you can pull that leg back into your Badakanasana and then switch. Right leg is going to extend out. You're going to keep that hand hold, lean your heart forward. Beautiful. And then pull it back up to your Badakanasana. And now we're going to take it sort of like a halfway point. So you're going to step your left foot forward, heel on the ground, but now pull your right toe back like you're pulling a bow and arrow. So elbow is going to draw back. And now we're going to switch. So right foot's going to step out to that halfway point, pull your left knee back, find that bow and arrow position, and then release. And now you're going to see if you can step that left foot just a little bit further forward as you pull the right knee back. Beautiful. Step that right foot forward, maybe going a little bit longer. Pull the left foot back. Nice. And now release your left foot nice and long. Release your toe hold. Grab your right big toe. Pull the right knee back. Left leg's extended nice and long. Find that nice tall lifted spine. Beautiful. So you're opening into the hip here. And then release. We're going to switch. Grab your left big toe with your left peace finger. Keep your right leg extended nice and long. Pull that left knee back so we open out to the outside of the ribs, open the hip. Beautiful. And then set that foot down. Now we're going to pick up the right leg, step it across the left, and then we're going to rotate to the right. So we're just going to wrap our hands around that knee. Maybe your right hand comes behind you, getting nice and close to the ribs so you find that nice height in your spine. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then release. Step that foot off, stretch it nice and long. Take it to the other side. Step the left leg across. Wrap your right hand around, turning to the left. And then maybe your left hand comes behind you nice and close to the body, finding a little height. Lovely. And when you're ready, release. Step that foot off. We're going to bend both knees, curl the tailbone under, roll your way down to the ground with control. Beautiful. And then once you found your way down, walk your heels a little closer to the butt. We're going to come into a bridge again. So heels close to the butt, feet about hip width distance apart, hands down alongside your hips. Start by noticing your hands and your shoulders. Press your palms, press your backs of your arms and your shoulder heads into the ground. Take an inhale. As you exhale, lift your hips up nice and high. Inhale and release your hips down. Readjust anything that you need to, your feet, your knees, whatever the case may be. Take one more breath. Exhale, lift your hips up nice and high. And now we're going to stay here. Reaching your knees toward your toes, making sure everything feels like it's arranged in a nice position, but finding the little action through the tops of the thighs, through the front of the hips or where your front pockets would be. Maybe a tiny lift of the chin upward. Create a little space in the neck and the throat. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, with control, roll down through your spine. Think one vertebrae at a time. Slow as you can, lower your spine down to the ground. Once your hips touch down, right leg is going to come across the left into a figure 4. Hands free to start. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, release it down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to release. One more just like that. Inhale, lift up. Exhale to release. And now we're going to thread the hands through. So as you inhale, lift the legs up, thread your hands through, find a handhold that works good for you. And then draw the legs in, keeping a nice action in your right foot. So think about keeping your right foot slightly flexed, soften your shoulders down. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, release, step your right foot off, switch to the other side. Left leg is going to cross the right. Hands free to start. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Exhale to lower down. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down. One more here. Inhale, lift up. Exhale to lower down. Awesome. And now we're going to thread the hands through, finding a handhold that works best for you. And then once you've got it, draw your legs into a comfort level, but keep a little action in that left foot. So a little flex in the left foot so it's nice and sturdy. Take one more breath. And then we're going to let go of our handhold from the back of the thigh. Uncross your left leg, but float both legs into a tabletop position. Arms are going to come out nice and wide at a T. We're going to take both knees, drop them over to the right. Let them come all the way down with control. Once your legs have found the ground, keeping your left shoulder as grounded as you can. So left shoulder is going to try to stay anchored on the ground. Right hand to the outside of the left thigh. Push your thighs down into the ground as you push your left shoulder down. And then turn your head to the left. Take 3 nice big breaths here. If your right hand is on top of your thigh, go ahead and release it. Pulling both knees nice and strong back to center. Pause in the center, readjust anything that you need to, but then when you're ready, drop your knees over to the left with control. Let them come all the way down to the ground, trying to keep the right shoulder anchored on the floor if you can. Once you've got those knees down, if it feels good, left hand to the outside of the right thigh. We're going to push the thighs down into the ground as we push the right shoulder down into the ground. Head turns to the right, and then come back to your breath. Take a nice, generous inhale. Slow exhale. 2 more cycles of breath. If your left hand is on the thigh, go ahead and release it. With control, we're going to pull those knees back to center, and then we're going to set the left foot down. Hands are going to grab hold to make that basket weave. Grab hold of the back of the right thigh, but now push your thigh into your hands. Create a resistance with your arms. So we're going to actively keep pushing that thigh into the backs of the hand, and then we're going to bend and straighten the legs. So think about 3 times of bending and straightening, but the whole time your thigh is pushing into your hands. So it might be a slow, controlled movement here. Beautiful. And then release that tension on the back of the thigh. Extend your right leg up, and now we're going to walk up the leg. So you're going to walk your hands up towards your ankle, letting your chest and your chin lift, drawing that leg in just to a level that feels comfortable. So hopefully finding a little sensation through the back of the thigh or in those hamstring muscles. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. Awesome. And then slowly and mindfully release. And we're going to take that to the other side. So we're going to pick up the right leg, make your basket weave, push your thigh into your hands. Hands are going to resist. With that strong resistance, bend and straighten that left leg about 3 times, keeping that pushing sensation into your hands. Awesome. And then the next time you bend and bring it down, soften that all up. We're going to draw the leg in slightly, extend the foot up towards the sky, walk your hands up towards the ankle. So let your chest and your chin lift. Find that nice stretch or that nice little tug in the back of the thigh. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. And then slowly and mindfully release it all down. Release your head, release your foot. We're going to walk the soles of the feet together, knees out to the left and to the right. So come through to Supta Badakanasana or reclined cobbler's pose. Let your knees drop out to the left and to the right. Take a second to just let them soften. Then if it feels comfortable to do so, your hands are going to just find the inner thighs and you're just going to let the weight of your hands rest on your thighs. So we're not trying to push the thighs down. We're not trying to go past the point that's comfortable in our own body, but just allowing that little bit of weight to let you tune in and notice. Notice your inner thighs. Notice any places you might be holding or gripping. Where can you soften? Where can you let go? Or where do you need to keep holding on to keep supported? Take one more moment here. Beautiful. And then let your hands find the outsides of the thighs. Help your knees come together. Move your way back to constructive rest. So walk your feet back to the outer edges of your mat. Let your knees drop in towards each other. And then just ask your body what it needs from here. If you're in a colder room, you might choose to put your socks, your sweater, your blanket, get yourself up so that you're comfortable and warm. And then start to find your way into a Shavasana that makes sense to you. So you might choose to stay in constructive rest. You might choose to come back to reclined cobbler's pose or take that more traditional shape or any other variation of the body that works good for you. Once you've got yourself all set up, just give your body a moment to let all those little wiggles work themselves out. And then see if you can invite some softness in. Start by just softening your lips, softening your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. Invite some softness through the front of your throat. Let your shoulders melt away from your ears and sink down into the ground. Let your chest and your ribs be soft and heavy. Arms and hands soft and heavy. Soften your abdominal muscles. Let go of any tension that you might be holding around the belly button. Soft hips, soft legs, soft feet. Maybe allowing that soft heaviness to find its way to the outer edges of your skin. Start to bring your awareness back into your body. Gently wake up your fingers and wake up your toes. Invite some more organic movement into your body, just reawakening, bringing some gentle movement back into your ribs. And then if it feels really good to do so, stretch your arms up and overhead. Reach long through your fingers, reach long through your toes. Take a nice big full breath in here and feel that movement of breath in your center. And then as you exhale, find a little bit of softness. And then just take one more big breath here. Reach through your fingers, reach through your toes. And then as you exhale, find softness and then start to release, finding your way slowly up to a seated position. So you might choose to rock and roll up or roll to one side, but take your time. And then as you find your way up to a comfortable seated position, maybe Sukhasana with your legs crossed, but really any seat that just allows you to sit up nice and tall. Awesome. And then once you've found your way here, we're going to finish with a little Ganesha Mudra. So we're going to bring the palms together and then slide the fingers so that they're in opposite directions of each other, and then slip the hands in so that you get a little catch. So we're just going to wrap the fingers around and then hold that nice strong position right in front of the heart. And if it feels comfortable to do so, close your eyes or just focus your gaze. Feel that little gentle tug between the fingers, elbows active and wide. Take a nice, generous inhale. Nice, slow exhale. Inhale, pulling in fear, anxiety, anything that gets in your way throughout the day. And then imagine that your heart just wraps around it, just like that little turn of your fingers. So imagine that it wraps around that, holds it in, brings it into a nice loving space. Take one more big breath. Exhale and find a little softness between your fingers, and then release, stacking one hand right on top of the heart and then the other hand right on top of the other. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and for all of your hard work. And as you exhale, let your shoulders soften and think about letting go of anything you're holding on to that won't serve you through the rest of your day. And then when you feel ready, gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy Thursday.